Hello, welcome to Yin Yoga, this first Yin Yoga of 2023, if you can believe it. We're in 2023. So today's practice, our peak pose is going to be half saddle. And so if you know you've got a knee issue or something like that, support yourself. So bring in extra blankets, blocks, bolsters, whatever it is that you need. We will go into dragons today as well to somewhat prepare for that. So make sure you have what you need. I don't have a specific intention for us today, other than I have pulled some words that I have used in recent affirmations and journaling that I'm just going to say to you throughout practice. And you can contemplate what those mean to you right now, what they may mean to you in the future, past, what have you, how you can apply them. Just let it be a practice of pondering. So that being said, we will get started. And I am recovering from my second bout with COVID. So you may see me periodically take sips of my tea, nothing to worry about. So finding a nice comfortable seat, zipping up from pubic bone to behind the navel, belly button in. Let's take a slight tuck in the chin. And as we settle into the practice, begin to settle into that breath. Settle into the body. Settling into your space. And just notice. So as you inhale, can you expand that rib cage? And slowly exhaling it out. And now I'm going to exhale through my mouth here. Big inhale through the nose. Slowly release through the mouth. Good. Let's go into a few rounds of box breath. We'll do this to a 4 count. We'll inhale, hold, exhale, and hold for a count of 4. So big exhale to prepare. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain, 1, 2, 3, 4. Release, 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Return a normal breath, fingers to the side. Notice how you feel. Inhale, we'll take that up. Exhale, coming down. Good. So these are just little words, affirmations that I'll give you throughout practice. Let's take the first one. Let's take faith. What does faith mean to you? And it doesn't always have to be religious or spiritual. Inhale and reach. Exhale, go right into a side bend towards the left. Sits bones grounded. Moving through center, taking that right into the other side. Moving through center, taking that right back over to the left. Good. And from here, let's get a little bit of rotation, that little C curve roll. And then we'll just come back and we'll open. And C curve roll. And open. and see curve roll and open. I'm going to hold this open, taking my arm back there. Taking it to the side, move through center, take it right over to the right. And here we go again. See curve roll and open. And see curve roll and open. See curve roll, open. Let's hold this one open. And lengthen and come back. Good. Just take a little bit of a spinal roll here. And we want to always make sure that we're loosening up the spine before we go into some of these deeper postures, even though, you can argue, it's a thigh, it's a hip opener or whatever, but all of your muscles and connective tissue are related. Yeah. All right. Let's further take this into some cat-cow. So I'm going to take my folded blanket here to cushion my knees just to give them a little bit more support. And then when you're ready, taking hands down, spreading the fingers nice and wide. Take your knees a little bit wider than hip width apart if you've got a little bit of a back issue today, but belly button is in. Inhale, heart forward, pelvis back, nice cow pose. Exhale, round. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Good. Let's take a child's pose here. Knees together or as wide as the mat. You can take your arms long in front of you or hands behind you. We'll hold this one for a couple minutes. And the next word I'll give you to ponder is hope. Hope. So for me right now, hope is a 2023 COVID-free in my house. No COVID holidays. Hope for a more unified nation, world. Better things to come. Make sure your child's pose is active. So zip up from the pubic bone to behind the navel. Expand that rib cage on the inhale. Okay. So from here, when you're ready, carefully come up from there. Just kind of notice for a moment how you feel. Good. And we're going to go into a supported bridge. And I'm going to give different options for different people. This is also going to be for a couple minutes here. So the supported bridge that I've really started to enjoy is folding my blanket up like this. Good. Almost kind of in the place of a block, although you can certainly use a block here if you want to do that, or a bolster, and placing it under my sacrum here. Now, some people, that might be a little bit too much, and maybe you don't use, as deep of a fold in your blanket. You can even do this, with this depth of your blanket as well. So find what you need. You know your body better than anybody else, and your body is ultimately your best teacher. So find what it is that you need here to make your bridge more supported. I'm just going to drag this blanket right under the sacrum. You want to make sure that whatever prop you put under here today, it's going under the sacrum, the tailbone area. You don't want it up here in the lumbar. Okay? So, here. So once you get there, just kind of wiggle around, settle in. The next word I will give you is love. And there's many different types of love. So the question I'll give you with that one is, what kind of love are you going to bring in to your 2023? Another option here, I've got my knees bent. It's also, if it's safe for you, if you want to take your legs long and get a nice frontal stretch here, you're welcome to go that route as well. Any funny business in the back, if you do that, put a bend back in your knees. Good. From here, if you took your legs long, put a little bend in them. Good. Lift up the hips, move any prop that you put under there out, and just settle back down, taking knees into the chest, and just rock side to side. When you're ready, gently roll over to your side and press yourself up to a seat. So now we're going to start to get into the dragons and start to really do a little bit more opening here. So I'm just going to change my timer here. Yeah. I'm going to bring back in my support for my knees. And because this is going to be a 3-minute hold, once we work and get in there, I'm actually going to add a little bit more padding here. Just because my left knee needs that extra support. So always give yourself support. There's never any shame in asking for support, giving support. We do what we need to do. We all need support from time to time. So I'm going to use my blocks here on this first one as a dynamic dragon here. And we're going to actually do a high dragon today. So we're not going to come all the way down to the forearms or whatnot. But from here, I'm going to start with my left foot forward. Good. So I'm on my right knee back here, and I've got my blocks. Good. And I'm just going to do a little check. So I'm gonna make sure that my left hip, that front hip, is just gonna come back a little bit, squaring off my hips just a little bit more here. Good. Now from here, my front heel is gonna stay grounded. I'm just gonna kind of come forward. My blocks are gonna be my brakes and come back. And come forward and come back and forward and back and forward. And now I'm gonna pause right here. And I'm going to zip up and I'm going to relax my shoulders. Good. Some of you might even adjust this knee, taking it back a little bit more, depending on how you feel. But this is the area that we're really focused on. So here's your next little word, learning. Good. If you're feeling resistance, let your body feel the resistance. Don't push through the resistance. Just be there, breathe there. So careful that you're not collapsing your shoulders here like this, really kind of hanging into the blocks. Roll that back, zip up that front body still. And notice as you breathe, if your body starts to release some of that resistance. And from here, when you're ready, good. Carefully come out of there. Now you're gonna feel a little vulnerable here. So carefully come out. We're gonna take a little bit of a half split to counter that a little bit. So my left leg's gonna be long. I'm gonna keep a micro bend though in this knee so it's not hyperextended. My torso is gonna stay long, but I'm just gonna lengthen. And yes, you will feel a stretch in this hamstring over here. And then from here, when you're ready, good, we'll come out of there. Just let yourself kind of get a little readjusted here. And then we are going to take that same thing on the other side. So I'm going to start, my left knee is going to be the grounded one. My right foot's going to come forward. My blocks I'm going to use as my brakes. So just that dynamic movement, coming forward and then coming back. Coming forward and then coming back. Coming forward and maybe pausing here. Rolling shoulders back. Remember, front heel is grounded here. Front hip is back, so you're squared in the hips. And your next word is perseverance. Perseverance. And notice any resistance in the body. Breathe through it, just let it be. And then the longer you're here, notice if that resistance starts to give. And you're keeping that front body zipped up from pubic bone to behind the navel. Belly button is in. Expand the breath. Shoulders are relaxed. Perseverance. Okay. From here again, you're going to be vulnerable on that left side. So carefully, carefully come out of there. Find that half split pose, keeping a micro bend in this knee. Lengthen and breathe. And maybe reflect on that. Did you have a side that was more open or more resistant than the other? Today, my right side is more open. My left side is more resistant. And then from here, when you're ready, good. We'll carefully come out of there. And we're going to prepare for a caterpillar. Now, I'm going to move my blocks to the side here. I'm just going to leave my blankets stacked like this where they are. I'm just going to sit on them. And you can always bring in a bolster here if you need support. My throat needs some support. Otherwise, you don't have to have anything for caterpillar. I am going to take my pelvis into an anterior tilt. So my tailbone is going to come back. My hip bones are going to come forward. If you're really tight back here, support the backs of your knees with something so they can relax and you don't have to think about keeping them bent. But from here, big inhale, Exhale, hinge forward, long spine, and then fold in. And the next word I'll give you to ponder is independence. Independence. And again, breathe through any resistance. Belly button is still in here. Come back to the breath. Come back to the word I gave you, independence. Carefully, carefully come up out of there. The low back might be a little vulnerable. And just do a gentle rotation in one direction and a gentle rotation in the other. All right. So from here, we're going to come into a deeper seated twist before we go into half saddle. So for these, let me, so that we're not there. So if you want to keep your legs forward here, you can. You can also crisscross applesauce the legs. This is pretty much any seated twist that feels good to you that you want to do. I'm going to have my, I'm going to twist to the right first. So I'm going to take my left leg in and just have my right heel coming into my ankle. And then I'm just going to take my hands here and I'm just going to grow taller. Because remember, we want to twist from length, not from compression. So grow taller, zipping up, inhale, exhale. I'm going to twist to my right. And we'll just be here a couple minutes. And the next word I'll give you is integrity. Integrity. That can be a deep word for some of us. Remember, as we're in this seated twist, and any twist that we do really, aside from always twisting from length, is you still want to be able to expand that rib cage on your inhale. So if you can't do that, you might be too deep in the twist, and we never want to crank through the spine. Practice, the integrity of one's practice is what will give you that extra flexibility over time to come deeper into a twist. And from here, when you're ready, good. We'll come back in the center. Good. And just kind of roll that neck around a little bit here. The other direction. And then let's take that to the other direction. So now I'm going to switch out my legs here. I'm going to bring in my left foot. And the next word I'll give you here is wellness. Good. So twisting with length, twisting in the opposite direction of what you just did. Wellness. What does wellness mean for you? Often used interchangeably with the word health, but those are actually two different words. Long spine, expansive breath. And when you're ready, carefully come out of the twist. And again, just take some little neck circles here. And then the other direction. And we are all ready for half saddle. So I'm going to leave myself sitting on these two blankets here. I may or may not lie back. And just in case I decide to do that, if that's good for my body, I'm going to find more support with my bolster back here. Now, what I will do is move my blankets over. So when I take my right leg back, that's going to be the first leg, then it doesn't get tangled up in my blanket. Good. Okay. I'm going to take my left leg forward. I'm going to roll over to the left side, taking my right ankle and taking that back here. Now, again, if you've got a lot of space under here, sit up higher. We don't want this knee to be floating around or bouncing around in the air. If you feel super, super tight and uncomfortable, sitting up higher will also help with that as well. Make sure that your toes and things aren't tangled up in here. And ideally, You want the knee to be more in line with the hip. That's not where I am, but I'm not going to force it. I am where I am, and I'm just going to be happy with that. So from here, we'll do this one for a couple minutes, and you can always just kind of rub around the area. This is actually also a good little stretch for the ankle and the top of the foot. We don't often think about or get into those places, but they're important too. So the next word I'll give you is peace. Peace. And that can mean and be applied to a plethora of things. Now on this side, my body feels like it is safe to go back, so I'm going to do that, but I'm going to gradually do it. So I'm going to make sure that that support is behind me. My hands are behind me. Again, you don't want this knee to be floating up and down in the air. I'm just going to take that back. Now, coming back like I am right now is not appropriate for everybody. So if it is not for you, please don't go back there. Expansive breaths. And then from here, when you're ready, nod the chin. Good. Press yourself up with your hands. If you can't, you can roll over to your side. Just be mindful. This knee's going to be vulnerable. So you never want to just jump out of something. I'm just going to roll over and then I'm just going to take that out. And from here, I'm going to leave my blankets right where they are. I'm just going to turn around and take my bolster to the other side. So now it's going to be my right leg that's forward and my left knee that comes back. And how you set up on the other side might not be what you need over here. Maybe you need to be higher in your seat. Maybe you can be a little bit lower in your seat. Be where you need to be here. And again, make sure nothing's tangled up and you can rub, getting into the fascia and connective tissue. You want this knee to be more in line with the hip bone here, so we don't want it to be out to the side. What about the word abundance? Abundance. That's a big one for me going into 2023. Again, you can apply that to anything. Is it material things? Is it non-material things? Abundant spirituality, abundant health, abundant love, abundant finances, abundant friends. What does that mean to you? And from here, I'm going to go back just a little bit. No, actually, I think it can come back all the way. Yeah. And if you're going back, it is risky. If it's not for you, don't go there. If you're not comfortable with it, don't go there. Don't judge yourself. When you're ready, good. Carefully pick yourself up from there. Good. Carefully rolling out and rub, rub, rub. Good. Let's take this onto our backs. I'm going to move my bolster out of the way here. And I'm going to move my blankets out of the way here as well. But I'm going to have one towards the back for a little pillow. All right. From here, just take your feet as wide as your mat or your space and just get a nice little windshield wiper here. Now your front body should be really open today after saddle and the dragons. Let's take this into a supine butterfly. So I'm going to take the soles of my feet together here. And then I'm just going to let the heels just kind of sink where they go. Knees are out to the side. And I'm finding length from crown, tail. And I'm breathing and expanding. What about wealth? Again, that's often equated with a lot of material and fancy things, but it doesn't have to be. It's like abundance, wealth and spirituality, wealth of friends, wealth of knowledge. What does that mean to you? What kind of wealth do you desire? From here, carefully release from the supine butterfly. Take the feet back down once again, get a nice little windshield wiper. And we're going to take this into figure 4 twist before we come into Savasana. So I'm going to start by taking my right ankle over the left knee. And for some of us, this might be all you can do. And, even without the twist, and that's fine. Be where you need to be. But if you're okay with the twist, let that all come over to the left. Try to keep your right shoulder grounded and look to the right. And then the next word I'll give you is devotion. Devotion. Good. From here, carefully, in the way that's best for your body, come back to center. And then once again, find your little windshield wiper. And when you're ready, we're going to take that to the other side. So my get this right. Left ankle over right knee. Do the opposite of what you did before. Good. Find your figure four. And again, it's okay if this is where you need to stay and take the twist out. But you can also take that over towards the right, keeping left shoulder down, looking to the left. And the last word I'll give you is spirit. Spirit. What does that mean to you? And again, we're breathing and expanding through the rib cage. Belly button is still in. We're not letting it go. When you're ready, we'll take that head back to center in the way that's best for your body. Come back to center. Carefully undo. One final little windshield wiper. Let's take the knees into the chest one more time here as well. And when you're ready, we're going to come into our Savasana from here. So you can bring in any prop that you need. I'm going to bring in my bolster because I love having that under my legs. And wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. See if you can make yourself about 10% more comfortable. And I'll leave you here for a few moments, bringing back any of the words that maybe we have discussed. Faith, hope, love, perseverance, independence, spirit, integrity, wellness, peace, wealth, abundance. One final time. Taking some deep breaths here. Choose stillness or gently take head and neck from side to side. Choose stillness or invite movement of the fingers and the toes. Choose stillness or bringing knees into the chest, choosing to keep the upper body grounded, or maybe you want to lift it up into a full body hug. And choosing stillness, removing any props out of the way you may have used during your Savasana time. Taking legs long in front of you, arms long behind you, and reach and lengthen from the edge of the fingertips, the edge of the toes. Full body stretch, point and flex those feet. Bend and stretch through those hands, trolling wrists and ankles in one direction and then in the other. And whenever you're ready, carefully bending in both knees and rolling over onto your right or left side, the side that works best for your body, taking all the time that you need here. And when you're ready, pressing yourself up to that comfortable seat where we started our practice. Finding a nice tall spine, noticing how you feel. Hopefully a little bit more open. Fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale and reach. Exhale, hands and heart center. Take the favorite word I gave you and ponder that one final time. For me, that was abundance. We'll take thumbs to the forehead for good and true thoughts, to our lips for good and kind words, and to our hearts for open and loving hearts, knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted, no gain is ever reversed. May you be safe, may you stay well, may you have a wonderful start to your 2023. Namaste.